Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's Mike Lepre, it's the King Mike L. This is legit fantasy basketball. Yes, I know, legit fantasy basketball, you say. You say. It's March 24th. The Sweet 16 is upon us. You need us to break it down for you. You need us to give you the winners. And when it comes to picking winners, if there's one guy that has that on his resume for years, it's Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how are we tonight?
Doing well, man. Just feeling sweet. Ready to go.
The dance is a dance. It truly is. There's some teams that are there that make no sense to me. They don't. I look at it and I think, oh, come on. Like Oral Roberts. Like, come on. Or like Loyola Chicago. Come on. You know what I mean? I heard everything they said last time Coach TJ was talking about how, like, all the different, like, colleges, it's more on a level playing field and all this stuff. But I don't you miss the days when, like, Georgetown was a powerhouse? There was, like, and they were like powerhouse teams. Like, I like powerhouse teams. Or do you like it all spread out, Brother Ray? Tell me your side of this.
I love the dogs. I mean, I think when you have a team like Oral Roberts who just comes out of nowhere, I mean, they've had a great season. Just no one ever saw them play. No one ever heard of them. But you see the way they're playing. True grit. That team, you got to give them credit. I mean, the fact that they're still here, I think they have a great shot against Arkansas. I think they have an absolutely great shot to move on to the Elite Eight. So, I mean, that's why I watch, the NCAA tournament. I mean, obviously you have teams you root for, and you have your chalk, but it's the teams like Oral Roberts that really get you excited. The teams like Syracuse, an 11 seed that really get you excited. Oregon State. Look at that Loyola Oregon State matchup. No
Yeah,
one expected those two teams to be there. To me, that's NCAA basketball. And that Loyola Oregon State game, one of those teams is going to the Elite Eight. I mean, I think it's a great story.
so the thing is this: there's two teams in there from Oregon. Oregon. Like, I don't know how it's correctly pronounced. Like, I guess it's Oregon, right? We say from the New England area, we say Oregon. We
Yeah,
never say gone,
yeah,
right?
just it's our bad Northeast dialect that kind of butchers the name.
So instead of saying Oregon, I'm saying Oregon. Okay, so Oregon, we'll agree on Oregon. There's two teams from Oregon. There's Oregon State and Oregon. What the
Yeah,
heck is that?
you know what? I mean, Oregon obviously was, the number 7 seed. So I mean, we all knew that they would be there, but I mean, Oregon State, I'll tell you what, I think they're playing better right now. And again, like you look, it really when you have the seeding process, there's a lot of teams that don't play the top competition that are maybe gelling at the right time. We talked about how COVID affected the season this year, where teams were not at full strength. Not everybody played the full season, and you just don't know what teams are entering this tournament. Some of these teams coming in on a roll, some of these teams coming in finally at full strength. And I mean, that's great for the state of Oregon that these two teams are there. Great.
It's like, when do you think Oregon became like a contender in college sports? Because it wasn't like in the 80s. It was what, the end of the 90s. Like, when did they become a thing? Because they became a thing in all sports, football, Oregon. Like, all of a sudden it became more of a hub for, like, quality players. You understand what I'm saying? Like, on basketball, football, whatever. For some reason that became more of a hub. Why?
Well, I mean, Oregon was speaking for them. I mean, that's always been a great university for sports. Yeah, I know Oregon itself is a great location for softball. The World Series, the Girls World Series is played there. Um, they have good teams in every single sport. Obviously, football in the last 10 years kind of got them on the map. with that program there. So I mean, all around as far as sports, they're Pac-12. They're in a great conference and they're a great program and great university. So
It's
what
become that.
happens when you have a good football team, that kind of trickles down and helps your basketball team
That's
because
the thing.
you're getting that money. That football money drives these schools because that football money is just so lucrative. So, these big universities have the advantage against these smaller schools. But that's why, like Oral Roberts, even Oregon State in comparison, that is a great story for those schools.
It's crazy. It is. It is. All right. So let's go through the games. I got the spreads here. So we'll work off my spreads. If yours are much different, then you let me know. But they probably shouldn't be. Let's pick our winners and just give a reasoning why. So I'm gonna start with number 1 Michigan at number 4 Florida State. I have Michigan favored by 2.5. What do you think of that? I'll let you go first on that one. Who do you like in that game?
Florida State, is a good team, but I think Michigan right now is on a, Michigan is on a mission. All right. It looks like, they had a hard fought battle the other night against LSU, but I think they showed what it takes at the end of that game. So I have to go with Michigan here. I think it will be a close game. And I think the spread is at 3.
2.5. Yeah. 2.5. I got
2.5, 3. So, but I think Michigan will cover that.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that because I totally 100% agree. 100% agree. Michigan's going to roll Florida State. And when I say that, I mean like 10 to 12, 13 points. Like they're going to beat them up. I think, like you said, Michigan is they can see themselves already. They're not looking past Florida State, but it's like they can see themselves going further. Like they can already feel it. So they definitely have something there. So I agree with you. I actually think that's my lock out of all these games, Brother Ray. Like that's the one I have circled. Like that's the one. If you get Michigan only by 2.5, that's a great bet right there. So you tell me Michigan wins by 3. I'll take that any day of the week. You know what I mean? So all right, I'm glad we agree on that one. Second one's going to be Alabama at UCLA. As number 2 Alabama, at number 11 UCLA. Alabama I have favored by 6.5. Now let me go first on this one. I feel like Cinderella's about to get the slipper taken off and smashed in her face. That's how I feel like with this game with Alabama at UCLA. I think Alabama's going to beat the snot out of UCLA. I think 6.5 is so low. Like I think Alabama is really going to beat UCLA up. Look, UCLA has played valiantly. They really have. I hate to sound like a Jimmy Johnson right here. They've played valiantly, but they're not going to make it here. They're not going to beat Alabama. Brother Ray?
Yeah, I actually completely disagree with that. I think this game is going to show us that the Pac-12 is much better than the SEC in basketball.
Here we go.
I think with UCLA, I'm taking the points on this one, and I think the Bruins continue. I think Cinderella continues to dance.
I think she's going to get the slipper smashed in her face. I think Alabama is good. I'm really serious. Like that's a game that I looked at. I was like, wow, this is going to be one of those games where it's a wake-up call. All right, Loyola Chicago again. Another one. Loyola Chicago at Oregon State. Loyola Chicago is favored by 6.5. How is that possible? That a team like Loyola Chicago is in the Sweet 16, favored by 6.5.
Well, the thing is, they're playing a 12 seed in Oregon State, so that's why they're up by 6.5. Loyola was one of my sleeper teams that we talked about right before the tournament. That's a team that has dominated all year, and they're not in a big conference, so obviously when they're seeding these teams, they're going to be the 8 seed, they're going to be the 7 seed, they're going to be lower. That's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. Just because they were an 8 seed does not mean that they've played like an 8 seed this year. I like them comfortably over Oregon State.
All right, so you like them comfortably over Oregon State. I I don't like the spread. How about that one? How about I think Loyola Chicago wins this game, but I don't like the spread. That's the issue I have with this game because it's 6.5, and that to me is already too much. And I'm afraid it might go to 7 if they know what they're doing. It might go to 7. Honestly, it might be creep to 7.5. That's way too many points. I think they win by like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? 3, 4, 5. So I guess if I had to pick a betting thing, I'm going to tell you to bet Oregon State. If I'm telling you who was going to advance, I think it's Loyola or Chicago. Overall, I would say stay away from it. Like, you know what I mean? When you're that undecided, just stay away from this game. But I got to tell you who I think would win by the spread. All right, Houston at Syracuse. Number 2, Houston. Number 11, Syracuse. Houston's favored by 6. Now, I know you have an attachment to Syracuse, but let me first say I believe in Syracuse. I think they win this game. This is a team that you could ask my son, Junior. I would say watch out for Syracuse in this game. They're a funny matchup. They're a funny team. I think they could do this. I think they could win outright in this game, Brother Ray. What do you think?
Yeah, my heart is saying to go with Syracuse. Obviously, I have a son that goes there. I have friends that have gone there and graduated and are connected to the program. So with my heart, I'm saying Syracuse, and they're playing great. The zone defense is working. They're hitting shots. Buddy is playing like a man possessed. It's incredible. Even Derek Coleman on Twitter had a great video, just like celebrating the team. It was great seeing him on his chair, eating popcorn and celebrating the Syracuse win. But Houston, I think I think they're one of the top teams in this tournament. It's tough. The 6 points is tough. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to have to go with Houston. They'll lay in the 6.
Oof. That's a tough.
And my son probably won't be happy when he hears me say this. So
I'm siding with them. I really think they're gonna pull it off. I just do. I like that matchup.
I hope they do. I really do hope they do.
All right, jumping over to the other side, Gonzaga, number 1 Gonzaga versus number 5 Creighton. Gonzaga is favored by 13.5, and I oddly think that's not enough. I think you take Gonzaga to win by more than 13.5. Brother Ray?
Yeah, they're the best team in this tournament. I don't think it's even close. I think they've shown it all the way through. No one has challenged them as of yet. And we said this in the beginning, that this bracket was really laid out pretty easy for them. The tougher teams, the higher seeds in that bracket, they all beat handily during the regular season. So I have to say, I think 13.5 is not enough. I think Gonzaga wins this going away easily.
That's the thing. I agree. I completely agree. I mean, yeah. All right. USC, number 6 USC, favored by 2.5, and number 7 Oregon. I like number 7 Oregon. Who do you like, Brother Ray?
I'm going to USC in this. I think USC is one of those teams that is playing unbelievably well right now. Mm-hmm. They are blossoming in this tournament. They're playing. I mean, they're firing on all cylinders. And again, this is a tough game, though. Oregon is a good team. This is a tough game. It's a 1-point spread, though. So I will go with USC because I think they're going to advance. I
have it at USC at 2.5. I have USC 2.5. That's how big of a spread I have.
I had 1. I have 1.
One's different, but it's either way. I like Oregon. I think, like you said, you're right. I think USC might be on a better streak right now, but I think Oregon's a better team. I think they're just a better team. I think that in one game, I think I'll take the better team right now. I think Oregon wins this game. So I think it's close. I do. I agree. But I think Oregon wins. I just think they're a better team. It's going to be really close, but I'm going to go with Oregon. I hate that we're splitting, but it's like I got to go what I got to go with. All right. Baylor, favored by 6.5 at Villanova. Number 1, Baylor, favored by 6.5 at number 5, Villanova. Who do you like, Brother Ray?
I like Baylor. The 6.5 gives me a little bit of pause because Villanova, again, like USC, is another team that's playing well right now, and I think we're all kind of slept on Villanova. Who's won it? Yeah, I mean they're really the last champion on record. To be honest with you, they're basically the defending champs. So, number 5 seed. They've been winning and they've looked really good doing so. I think Villanova will cover. I think the 6.5 is not enough. I think Baylor wins the game, but Villanova covers.
Yeah, see, look, Baylor is a great team, but so is Villanova, and you're right. Villanova might not know how to lose. Like they just might not know how to do it. You know what I mean? They just haven't been doing it, so they just might not know how to do it. So with 6.5, I would definitely take Villanova. I don't know why they're going with these football spreads. 6.5, 6.5, 13.5, 11. Like, why those numbers for basketball? That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange. And again, with Villanova, I mean, they're the defending champs, folks. Everyone's talking about Gonzaga, but Gonzaga hasn't won anything. Like they didn't play the tournament last year. So, they're the defending champs, and really nobody is talking about that. But they've been playing well. So, again, sometimes that's better for a team when the spotlight isn't on you and no one's really expecting you to advance. You're more relaxed.
And you just keep winning. That's the thing. You just keep winning. So it becomes kind of like a team habit. You win. So I agree.
And there will be a lot of threes shot in this game. I mean, these are two teams that can shoot the rock. So there's going to be a ton of threes taken in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely will be. All right. So we both agree. Let's go that Villanova with the spread. But I actually kind of like Villanova maybe to move on, to be honest. I guess that's where we differ. I just think that Baylor is better, but now we're cutting it down to about a 3-point difference either way. And I just think when you're a team like Villanova and it's about a 3-point game, you don't know how to lose. You ever notice how there's teams that are really good, and sometimes when you get into that fourth quarter like last 5 minutes, certain teams just know what to do, right? You know what I mean? And in college, they know what zone to go into to kill time, to cut stuff. You know what I mean? Their program is just more evolved that way. You know what I mean? When you get into those moments, that's what's great about college basketball. That's why it's like a team like Villanova doesn't know how to lose, and they're not. It's not like they're not losing because it's like a cakewalk. They've been working their ass off, like you said. When you feel like the uncrowned champ, that's a horrible feeling. Like you must want to and you haven't. You just keep winning. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like Villanova overall. I think. But all right, Arkansas, number 3, Arkansas, favored by 11 at number 15, Oral Roberts. Ray, it's gotta end here. It has to end. It has to end. Oral Roberts has to be gone. They gotta lose by 11. Ray, tell me something.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I love them not only to win the game, but I think they're a lock with the 11 points. Arkansas is not the team to do it. I said this in the beginning of the tournament. I didn't think Arkansas was a 3 seed. So look at it. If I'm looking at the way these teams have been playing, I love Oral Roberts with 11 points. Love, and I may even be tempted to go on that in the money line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you say they're gonna win, you know the money that's gonna pay money line.
This team believes. They believe, and that's really all you need. You don't need much else.
So wait a minute, brother. Let me remind you on this. You like UCLA against Alabama. Do you like UCLA to win outright?
Yes.
Okay. You need to parlay Oral Roberts in UCLA, a 2-teamer. Ray, you know the money that'll pay? If
Yeah,
you're
I
that
mean,
confident on those two teams, like that's what you need to go do. And if Genius was here, he would probably tell you how to like tease that to make it to the point where you probably would feel like you can't lose. I think that's probably for you. But all right, no, I got to go to Arkansas. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't deal with Oral Roberts. Like I just. You're right. Arkansas isn't the ideal team to do this. It's not the team that I would pick to do this. It's not. It's not. Like I think other teams would lump them up horribly, and I don't think Arkansas is a team to kind of do that. But and you know what? I guess I don't like the spread, but I'm just gonna roll with it because I just feel like it's gonna end eventually. You know what I mean? It's just gonna fall apart by Oral Roberts somehow. So I'm gonna go to Arkansas. All right. So let's just go through the game so we're back on record with them. Michigan, Florida State. We both like Michigan. That's my lock.
Yep.
-2.5. Alabama, UCLA. You're UCLA getting 6.5. And I'm Alabama -6.5. Not a strong Alabama one on there, I guess. But you like UCLA outright. That's one of your bombers, right?
Yes.
Loyola, Chicago -6.5 at Oregon State. We both like Loyola, Chicago, correct?
Correct.
All right. Houston, Syracuse. Number 2, Houston. Number 11, Syracuse. You went against your son's wishes, and you went with Houston -6. I like Q's to win outright. That's one of my bombers. That's one of my upset specials. And Ray, if you really, really thought about it, that's the team that should be the third team in your parlay of bombers to your son's college to cap it off. You know how much that would win those three teams?
That would be a pretty big bet.
And that's what I'm going to roll with, I think, when we're done at the end of this. All right. So I like Q's, you like Houston. Gonzaga, Creighton. Gonzaga's favored by 13.5. We both like Gonzaga to win by 13.5.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
USC -2.5 at number 7, Oregon. You like USC. I like number 7, Oregon. That's another one that I would tell you I'm not 100% confident in. I don't know if you are. If you want to skip that one, skip a game, that's the game to skip. They're really close, those two teams.
It's a pick 'em. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em. I mean, the spread reflects that too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so then we got Baylor -6.5 at Villanova. We both like Villanova.
Yep. I like Villanova with the points. I do think Baylor will win the game, but I like Villanova with the points.
We both like them with the points. You think that Baylor wins the game? I think Nova wins. All right. So I guess that'd be my second. I'm gonna go so old school East Coast. I'm gonna go Villanova and Syracuse. Oh my gosh. How did it lose? All right, last Arkansas -11 at Oral Roberts. I think the trade I think this horrible nightmare of sports news clips comes to an end, and Arkansas wins by 11. You, however, think they go to the Great 8, Elite 8, whatever they want to call it now. You like Oral Roberts, right?
I was talking with an alumni today that I work with. Very excited. He's he's in Tulsa right now, but I mean, he's a graduate. He's saying that he expected this. I mean, they've played well all year, and yeah, they didn't have the fanfare, they didn't have the seating. It is what it is. But right now, it's a game of basketball, and there's 5 people on the floor. 5 against 5. So I don't know. They believe, and I like what I see. I mean, their guard play has been outstanding.
It really has. Ray, so for bets, we're telling people that they can rest easy with Michigan, Gonzaga, and Loyola Chicago. Right?
Yeah, I think those are easy. I think, Loyola may be a little bit of a stretch with 6.5, but I think Gonzaga and Michigan clearly. I think Michigan is probably the easiest one of those bets, only giving up 3.
The Bombers, if we had to pick parlays of upsets. And by the way, If you remember on Twitter, I was 9 out of 10. I'm very good at upsets.
Yeah.
I have a very good, I really am. I just couldn't finish the deal. 9 out of 10. I like Syracuse and Villanova. Those are my two upsets. And if you bet them the money line, both teams, that's a really good bet. You, however, like who are your teams again? Help me here.
UCLA. I like UCLA getting 5.5, and Oral Roberts getting 11. Now you pair those two with, if you pair those two with Villanova and Syracuse, holy Toledo!
Right? That's a good one right there. I just don't like Oral Roberts. I'd have to root for him. I'm just like you know this. I'm a Big East snob. I'm a Patrick Ewing, Allen Iverson, like old school snob. I really am with some of the team names, like in some of these teams that are there now. I'll be honest, that shows my age, but it's true. That's how I feel about it. Like some of these teams, like I finally get over Gonzaga. If you remember, Gonzaga in the 80s was like Gonzaga. Like one year it was like Gonzaga, right? You remember there was a year it was like, who the hell is Gonzaga? And also
they've had some good teams though, King. They've had some really good teams, and it just seems like something happens and they can't, they can't get over the finish line. Oral Roberts, how many times throughout the years, because of their conference, they usually do well. They usually get in as a bid, and you see them in your bracket. And of course, everyone's going down the bracket. All right, who's Oral Roberts playing? I'm picking the other team, right? I mean, that's usually how it goes. And usually you were right. Okay. Usually Oral Roberts is gone in the first round. Not this year, folks. Not this year.
Yeah,
and good for them. Good for Oral Roberts.
I wonder how long though, like, and I'm a big proponent of it being a team sport, basketball, but I wonder how long and how deep this is going to go before just having that talent beats out. You know what I mean? Because when you run into Michigan, that's just talent right there. You got to keep up. Like your horses have to be as fast as the other guy's horses. Like it's a race. You guys, it's horsepower. You got to have like I never forget. I was assistant coaching this guy for AAU, and he was like, he said, you got to have the horses. You got to have the stud. You got to have the kids that can play. If you don't have them, you can't win. And like as greatly coached as you want to be, and you can be greatly coached, if you don't have them, you're in trouble because they're some of them are special. You know what I mean? And they're hard to just stop. That's what's great about basketball.
John Wooden can't take 5 guys off the street and beat Michigan. I mean, as great as he is, great as head coach, with probably the best to ever be. You need the horses, and especially in college basketball. You don't have the talent, you don't stand a chance.
It's God's honest truth. All right, hey brother Ray, that was us letting them know who to bet tomorrow and Sunday for the Sweet 16. We may do another basketball show before no, we won't.
Tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night, NBA?
Yeah, tomorrow. Why did I just say that? We're going to be doing it tomorrow. Before that, we'll be doing the baseball show, right? So the baseball show is 7 to 8 tomorrow. And no, the football show is 7 8. Why don't you even stop me? That's why I need the genius Kev here right now, because he would have stopped me by now.
I'm going to give you a shock button, King. Whenever you say something wrong, I'm going to hit the button. It's going to shock you. Cattle pride.
We got so many shows right now. This is like it sounds like a bad pitch, actually, because we really do. We have so many shows right now that I'm getting confused. Tomorrow, 7 to 8 live streaming will be Legit Fantasy Football. Then 8 to 9 live streaming will be Legit Fantasy Basketball. I was thinking of like on a Monday where from 7 to 8 p.m. it's Legit Fantasy Baseball, and then from 8 to 9 it's Legit Fantasy Basketball. See how you get confused like that, brother Ray? Like, on a Sunday, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock in the morning, every Sunday, like clockwork, Legit Fantasy Football, and then at night, 7 to 8, on a Sunday night, because at the end of the week, Brother Ray, you remember the good old days. You watch sports all week, and on Sunday night, you want to watch like Creature Double Feature, something that's different, has nothing to do with sports. Legit Paranormal, which we're doing phenomenally. We actually heard a spirit.
They really bring it. I'll tell you, those guys, they bring it. So that's a great show. But I can't wait to hear you talk about Adoree Jackson tomorrow. I mean, that's going to be the highlight of mine, and I can't wait to hear your opinion on them signing one of the best corners available in free agency, Giants.
I think Joe Judge is gold. I really do. I'll leave you with that. I do.
There's a reason Belichick didn't want to get rid of him. Belichick wanted to keep him. He didn't want to lose him.
He is gold. As also, make sure you check out the website. That's the one thing we've been doing really, really well on, is the amount of people that have been visiting this site. It is, all the WW stuff. LegitFantasySports.com. LegitFantasySports.com. You go there. We've got different links up. I have the audio streams, like we're on Buzzsprout. We're on a bunch of other things, and I have links for that, for just the audios of our shows. It also has all these YouTube shows broken down. We're broken down by sport. I also have a link to do that draft. It's a fun thing to do. It's like a mock draft simulator. There's all kinds of things actually on the page, Brother Ray. I don't know if you've ever been.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I've been.
But it's great. And in the front, on the very front, because of Instagram, whenever, if there's a parlay that we like Genius Kev will do, we'll send an Instagram post, and it'll be right on the front page of our website. It'll be the first post to the left, is always the newest. And we've been doing that. We've been giving people winners. 9 out of 10 I gave them. 9 out of 10. I mean, come on.
And give Genius some props. Give the Genius some props. He had Phoenix and Philly last night.
It's true.
And he nailed both of those. So hopefully some people made some money off of that. He nailed both of those.
I forgot that. I agreed. Good call. So that's the thing. So if we can make people money when we're doing this, well, why not? That's what sports is about, right? Like, sports is always about sports and winning, but somehow it's always about money in a weird way, right? It's like, anytime somebody, what was the joke? Like, kids would just start playing a pickup game, and people start just throwing money at them, and paying people different things or whatever. It's just how it works. But I guess I love the gambling rush. It doesn't even have to be a strong rush with me. Like, I'll bet a $5 parlay Bombers. Like I just said, Syracuse. I'm gonna go with this one on you. UCLA, Villanova, and Syracuse. I like those Bombers, actually. I'll roll with that. That's something I would roll with. That I would go and bet. I'm probably going to go do that, too. But that's what I love to do. I love when, like you said, the dogs win. I don't know if it's ingrained in us from Rocky and every other movie, Hoosiers and all that other stuff, but it's always like Rudy. It's always the underdog. When's the last sports movie you saw that was made about the team that was the number 1 ranked team, and they just crushed everybody and won?
I mean, Rocky was in the Bible, David and Goliath, for God's sakes. I mean, the underdog has been celebrated, for centuries. So, yeah, I mean, you want to see that big program go down to the small, scrappy school. To me, that's the only place where it's level, when they're both on the floor, and that's where they can beat them. They're not going to over-recruit. They're not going to spend more money. They're not going to have a better training facility. But to say, hey, we beat you guys in the Sweet 16, imagine that.
And you're right. Look, one game in college basketball, any team can beat a team, really. It's how physical they come out and play. It's how the refs let them play. How about that? If they come out and they play really physical, say the refs allow it. Well, then the more physical team now starts to take. Dude, not to go back to this, but from coaching AAU myself, I would notice sometimes it wasn't the best team. It was the team that was in the best shape and was constantly hitting the other team and wearing them out. And even in college, I think that holds true for some teams. You can wear them out if you pound on them. And we got a couple of games that are something like that. But in general. You're right. We love the underdog. We do. We really do. All right, brother Ray, you got anything else before we let it go?
Now I'm looking forward. This is going to be again a great weekend of college basketball, great weekend of NBA. We got NFL free agency to talk about tomorrow and how that's shaping up for the draft. We're going to have some draft prospects that we're going to talk about Thursday and Sunday. Start looking at positions and really looking at some players that are not in that top 10, that are outside that top 10. They're going to be value for teams, and that could be better than some of those players in the top 10.
Good. Well, I'd ask anybody else if they had anything to say, but there isn't anybody else. So for me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L, I have nothing else to say but enjoy the rest of the night. We look forward to you tuning in tomorrow for two great shows, football and basketball. And we really do appreciate the support you've been giving us. I didn't mean to sound sarcastic like that. Just sometimes I talk like this. Thank you and good night. Sometimes I just talk